Hello and welcome into this midday edition of Locked On Capitals. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. My name is Dan Holme. You can find me on Twitter. It's at DanCaps218. And I want to thank all of you for making this your first listen of the day. So in this episode, it will be a bit of a game recap as your Washington Capitals down the Toronto Maple Leafs by a score of 5-2. And quite an evening for the Capitals. And just to follow up here a little bit, I know I did say that I was going to do an episode last night, but sometimes life changes things. As I came home and my wife looked at me and said, all of the kids are sick, so I had to switch my priorities to taking care of the kids and, well, watching the game on the couch on my phone cuddled up between two sick children. But that's rather here nor there, talking about your Capitals as they are victorious with a big 5-2 victory. And the significance of this game and kind of what I've talked about on this show is things can go in one of two directions. Either you're going to get a lot better or worse in a hurry in the Metro Division, as it is pretty tight. As I take a peek at it here in the Metro, the Devils with 51 points lead the Metro. The Caps in second with 50, the Hurricanes with 45. And to talk about a story from riches to rags, the New York Rangers are in last place in the Metro with only 33 points. So that's what I'm talking about, that things can change a lot from game to game. They can change a lot from season to season. But the Capitals doing great things and raising their record to 24-9-2 for 50 points, marking one of the quickest 50-point milestones in franchise history. And thanks goes out to Spencer Carberry. Thanks goes out to Brian McClellan, Chris Patrick, for assembling truly one of the greatest rosters I can think of in recent memories for the Capitals. The game was also significant as it saw the return of Captain Alex Ovechkin, significantly boosted the team's performance, contributing an empty net goal and reaching 16 goals for the season. He is now only 26 goals away from breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. And, it was an empty netter. And I think at the end of the day that those empty netters are a bit of the bane of Alex Ovechkin's existence, as he gets a lot of grief about that. And he said something to the effect after the game, if you think it's so easy, why don't you lace up the skates and try to do it yourself? I think that, of course, he would like to have all his goals 5-on-5 or on the power play. The empty netters, I think, even though they count, I think it's kind of tough on the grade 8. But key contributions in this game as the Capitals offense came alive. Andrew Mangiapane for his 8th goal, Jacob Chikrin, his 10th goal, Nick Dowd, his 9th, Tom Wilson, 14th goal, and PLD, his 22nd assist with Dubois on a 5-game point streak. So this team is firing on all cylinders, and this was against, I'm going to go ahead and say, a really good Maple Leafs team. If I take a look at the Atlantic Division here, the Maple Leafs, 46 points, and the Panthers also with 46 points. So it was a big victory, and it was in Toronto. So the significance of this game was really felt. And a lot of it was shutting down a lot of the best of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Capitals found a way to get that done. The Capitals showcased strong special teams with Wilson scoring from a Chikrin shot and effective defensive play on neutralizing Mitch Marner, among other big players on the team. So quite an evening for the Capitals as, you take a look at it. And I'm guilty of this a bit myself, is the Capitals will lose a game here or there, I think here recently against the Bruins. And I think that, even though around the NHL, the bar wasn't set high for this team to start the season, with their play this season, I think that bar has been raised. And the expectation is that the Capitals win big games on a night in and night out basis. And they're getting it done. And a big victory, a win is a win and a loss is a loss, as they say. But to get a victory over a truly great team, one of the greatest in the NHL historically, and a city that loves hockey more than anyone else, that was truly a great evening for the Capitals. But just to be an accurate assessor and give credit where credit is due, Logan Thompson stood out in net, now has a .946 save percentage, stopping 35 of 37 shots faced. So quite an evening for the Capitals in general, and hopefully they can continue to keep it going. But the big thing, Alex Ovechkin in the lineup, even though he did score what was an empty net goal, it's just leading by example. And you saw, when the Capitals players get hyped before the game, he is always the ringleader there. So just to have almost like a dad figure, if you will, in the locker room and on the ice, I think was really a big thing. And, taking a look at it, it was taking advantage of a goaltender in Toronto, Murray, that is not what he once was. I think back to, so many years when he was on the Penguins and how good he was there, they took advantage of a netminder that a lot of those saves, had it been any other netminder, the score would have been much tighter. I don't think that the Maple Leafs would have won the game, but he let through some leaky goals. Some of them were legit, just outworked. But, I think of the Mangiapane goal in particular, that I think that some of the other netminders in the league would have stopped. But a big win, and you take a look at it. It's good that the Capitals have that in spades in net. Whether it's Logan Thompson or Charlie Lindgren, that if either one of them netminders is in there, and unless one of them gets injured, that's who it's going to be. The Capitals stand a really good chance at winning the game. Now, taking a look ahead, the Capitals prepare to take on the Detroit Red Wings today, which, if you take a look at it or if you pay attention to hockey in general, they are not living up to potential or where many people thought they should be. The Red Wings currently have 30 points in second to last place in the Atlantic Division, with only the Sabres worse at 30 points. But, historically, the Detroit Red Wings have been a very good team, and they have a new head coach who has some experience as well. So it is definitely not going to be an easy out for the Capitals. It's not going to be easy. And the one thing I hate to say, and it's an overused term, but I don't want the Capitals to enter into oftentimes what is referred to as a trap game. So even though it was a big win over a truly great team, don't underestimate your opponent. The Detroit Red Wings are going to throw everything at the Capitals to play spoiler for one, but also to bring back prominence to Detroit in a franchise that historically has been a really good team. All right, once again, I want to thank you for joining me on this midday edition of Locked On Capitals and making it your first listen of the day. It is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And I'll talk to you guys again after the game.